Hi guys, it's Sophie. So today I wanted to make a pretty quick video for you, just showing you what I'm currently reading and a little bit of a haul, because as you remember in my last video I had some books that hadn't turned up yet and I've acquired 2 more today, so I thought I'd show you those. I've also got a couple of non-bookish things to haul which I just thought I would share with you. So I actually managed to finish The Luminaries, which as you know has been a massive thing for me. I think the audiobook experience helped an awful lot in sort of pushing through that book, and because I listen to audiobooks on 1.5 times speed, I think that helped a lot too. So what that means is I've actually finished my 0 by 16 goal. I've read all of the physical books that I had before 2015, and the only books I have left are ones that I bought within the last 2 months, so that's quite impressive and I'm pretty proud of myself for that. So I am currently reading A Little Life by Hanya Yangahara. It's an absolutely gorgeous book, so if you sort of look on the cover you can see sort of that New York fire escape in the background, and the same fire escape is on the end pages. I think it's absolutely stunning. The characters in this book are so rich and just absolutely lovely. I think the way the stories interact, the way that the people interact you can connect to it so easily, and as I'm reading it I just don't really want to put it down. It is huge, but I am glad it's huge. I wouldn't want this book to end yet. I'm only 100 pages or so in, but would absolutely recommend that you pick this one up if you haven't already done so. Okay, so the next books I have are the ones that arrived a bit late. The postman was very silly and decided to leave them outside in a rainstorm, but luckily the people at Amazon wrapped them nicely for me so they aren't ruined. They did get a bit water damage, but they're okay. So the first one I have is Bone Gap by Laura Ruby. This is a book that sort of really intrigued me a while ago. I heard Reagan from Prue's Project talk about she hauled it, but I don't think I've heard anything else about it since. It's been on my wish list for a while. So it's essentially about a strange sort of town. It reminds me of Night Vale, if you listen to Welcome to Night Vale, which I absolutely love, in that strange things happen in Bone Gap and people just sort of accept that Bone Gap is a strange place and that odd things are going to occur. So what happens is a young girl goes missing in Bone Gap and everyone sort of thinks this is fine, this is something that would normally happen to them, but a boy believes that it shouldn't be normal and that people should be worried about her, and he believes that an unknown man has taken her away. So it's about this boy sort of trying to convince people that he lives around, that she is important and we do need to find out what's happened to her, and him unravelling the mystery of where she's gone. So the next one I have follows on from the sort of man booker theme, and it is Satin Island by Tom McCarthy. This one sounded really interesting to me, and I think it's one of the ones that made the shortlist. I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. It's just sounded really interesting to me anyhow. It's essentially about a sort of corporate anthropologist, so someone who deals with how people interact within large companies, and it's supposed to be very odd, and I like odd books. I like books that aren't necessarily the everyday and are a little bit more challenging. And also because I actually work in HR, I work with people on that scale relatively often, and so it sounded quite interesting to me for that, in terms of the character and how they'll sort of play around with this. The other thing I thought was quite interesting about it is it's told in sort of quite short snippets. You might be able to see that you sort of got 7.2 and then another section of 7.3 just up there. So they are really quite short, sort of snappy scenes, and I tend to really enjoy books that have that sort of short scene by scene type layout, so that interested me as well, and I think having sort of got into A Little Life and enjoying that so much, I thought I wanted to give this one a go as well. And the next one I have is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elias Seneers, something like that. So I've heard a fair amount about this book, and from what I understand it's about 2 teenage boys, sort of a contemporary novel about them growing up and coming of age, and how they're interacting with one another. I think what interested me so much about this one was that it is that contemporary but from a male perspective, which is rare, and I just wanted to see what it's like. Obviously it's won a lot of awards, people sort of objectively think it seems to be quite a good book, but I would like to sort of see what I think of it. And here on BookTube it's quite a popular book too, so finally jumping on this bandwagon and giving this one a go. And then the last book I have to show you today is one that I've heard nothing about. I've not seen it on BookTube, I've not seen anyone talk about it, anyone haul it, anyone review it in papers, and that is The Room by Jolis Carlson. So this is a book that at first sort of reminded me of Horror Store, which I read quite recently, in that it's sort of an office environment, and it's about a room that I think shouldn't quite be there. And it's sort of horror, I think, but because I've heard so little, I'm not entirely sure. But as I say, I work in an office, and it just seems interesting, and there's some good quotes on the back. I think the guy from Parks and Rec recommended it as well. It sounds really interesting, and it is very short, so I thought it might be quite a nice one to read in between potentially A Little Life if it does get a bit more heavy and I do need a little bit of a break. So those are all the books I have to show you, but I wanted to just quickly run through some other stuff I got today, which I think is kind of exciting. So me and my brother are trying to be a bit healthier as part of my sort of getting a bit better in myself. We're trying to eat a bit more healthily and exercise a bit more. So I've got a big sports bag to carry around my stuff in. So I have a fair amount of things because I used to go to the gym really regularly when I lived on my own, but I thought it'd be nice to have something to carry them around in, and I do find that when you're trying to start something new and it's maybe a little bit hard work, having some nice new things can motivate you. And I went to Primark and just picked up a couple of things, again, I can use for exercising in, or just sort of nice things to have. So I just got this little pair of red shorts. They're only £1, but I thought they'd be fun. I do boxing, or I used to do boxing, and shorts are really useful rather than sort of those long legging things. I like shorts, I prefer them when I'm doing that kind of exercise, so just £1, it seemed worth it. And I got a white sort of blouse. I wear those an awful lot for work, but they do fade quite easily. I do find that I'm bad at putting my whites in with other things, so I just got a new one. I'm going to go see a guy tonight, a different guy to the last guy, just for a first date sort of thing, and I thought it'd be nice to have a white shirt rather than a pink or blue white shirt like I normally have. And I got a big cosy cardi. It's huge, it's comfy. I'm such a sucker for comfortable things. It's cosy. I love winter and I love autumn, and I love being able to cuddle up in things, and it's really soft, and it wasn't that expensive, so I just picked this one up and I really like it. They had it in brown as well, but I got it in blue because everything I have is in blue. And then I got two sort of booky t-shirts because I just fancied having some. So I got a Game of Thrones one, which I think is quite sort of cute. Again, I'll probably use these to go to the gym in, but I might just doss around the house in them as well. And I got this one because they currently have all the Hogwarts t-shirts. I got a blue one because I'm a Ravenclaw. I was under the impression I was a Hufflepuff, but I actually took my test and I'm not. So I thought, well, I'll get some house colours in there and sort of support Ravenclaw a bit more. So these are the books that I am currently reading and going to be reading in the near future. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul and you haven't minded that it hasn't been sort of purely bookish. But yeah, I've had fun. I'm having a really nice time at the moment, and I hope you all are too. I hope that you will have a lovely weekend and a lovely week to come, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye bye.